Ready for the mosh pit, shaka bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast, Player One Baseball's Life is Strange fan podcast. This is episode 120, Side A.
Wow.
I'm only your co-host, Adnan Riaz, my co-host. Artificial intelligence created Adam Evalt.
I am artificially made, but that's about infertility bullcrap. But yeah, here I am, hooray! And I have zero intelligence, yay!
Exactly, and so do I as well. After I messed that introduction up, we're on a very good start here, but obviously we've got a big episode as well about a lot of things here. So, for context as well, we're recording on the Sunday, the 9th of November as well. But I'll run into this in a moment. So before we start as well, if you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like the video, share with your friends. We've crossed 2150 subscribers. So if you can get to 2200, that would be amazing. And StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. So check us out on Spotify with the video version. We have 340 followers on there. We have 50 ratings. If you can rate us and boost us, that's be amazing for our visibility. And we're available on Apple Podcasts and all the other services. So go and check us out there. It's very much appreciated. You help boost us on the algorithm thing. You can also follow us on social media as well. We're on all the social media platforms. And you can support us on Patreon as well. We just did our Patreon episode as well. Hopefully, as we said, we're recording now on the 9th of November. You should be getting that second part. And apologies about the delay. It's been a lot of stuff. So just for context as well, Sam Bradley's interview hopefully comes this week, at least the first side. I think I'm going to try and get most of it more or less edited. So side A will be here. This podcast kind of has inserted itself into the schedule a bit ahead of Sam's interview because it's a massive news piece as well.
I mean, we would have gotten it out if Sam just stopped suing us all the time over it. So
yes,
yeah, all
that as well. He's just suing. Yeah, he's doing it from his like oven as well. That's where he's doing it from. He's like baking sweet treats and then suing us from there. No, but that interview will definitely be coming this week. I'm going to really sit down and try and hammer out at least the first part, and then the plan will be to get side A out, side B, and then also the full podcast so you can watch it in its entirety afterwards. So apologies about the delay. It's just been a lot of things that have been happening. But Adam, speaking of which, should we get into our first piece of news? It's our biggest piece of news as well. It's the central theme of this.
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
Oh God, here we go. So bear with us on this. So I'm going to pull this up here. We're on the big screen, as you can see on the video version, and there's Adam at the bottom. And I've just scrolled down by accident. So as you can see here, this is on IGN. This is on the 6th of November. And we're going to break this into sections whilst we talk about into topics as well. So Square Enix undergoes mass layoffs as it reorganizes to consolidate development in Japan. Rebecca Valentine, over 100 workers in the UK and unknown numbers in the US are expected to be impacted. So as you can see here, she wrote, Square Enix is undergoing mass layoffs today, potentially impacting over 100 individuals alongside a broader effort to consolidate its publishing organization and focus its development work in Japan. Via public posts from former employees, as well as confirmation from internal sources, IGN has learned that employees in the UK and US are being informed of the layoffs today, with an unknown number of US employees being dismissed by the end of the week, and a possible 137 jobs at risk in the UK. Under UK law, Square Enix must undergo redundancy consultations to see if any jobs could potentially be saved. So the final number in the UK could be smaller. It's not yet clear which teams are impacted by this or to what extent. Adam, that's our first piece, at least, where we're going to kind of stop for the moment as we move forward with this.
I'm a big fan of layoffs. Huge fan. Love them.
Yeah.
Love layoffs. Like, what is your thoughts on layoffs? Do you love them as much as I do?
Oh, it's always yeah.
Like, I say it all the time. Layoffs aren't a new thing, right? Like I remember my mom got laid off from her job like in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like layoffs are a thing. They've been around since the dawn of time. In fact, once evolution happened, they laid off all the birds so they then became dinosaurs. Like that's just what happened. That's how evolution became a thing. Layoffs. My point in saying this is that like layoffs aren't new, but what's happening right now in the games industry is unprecedented, right?
Yeah.
You do layoffs because you overestimated, right? You do layoffs because you overestimated or a serious lack of funds happen. But what's happening in games industry is the overestimation out of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
You highlighted something. So Bam.
No, sorry, that's what for me. That's what for me for following. No, I don't
Okay,
ignore
I
that.
was just like, I thought you were giving me a hint here in the notes.
No.
And shut up.
No.
But like, what's unprecedented is like what's overestimating is from the pandemic. They probably overhired during
Yeah.
the pandemic. Not probably, but they did overhire in the pandemic.
Mhm.
But now what we're seeing in the games industry is just like the layoffs that I don't think it was due to overestimation. I think it's due to greed now. I think shareholders just want too much. We're in late stage capitalism. So workers don't matter. It's just shareholders and tech billionaires, you know? So the fact that we're hearing about layoffs, can I say that we're hearing about a new layoff like once a week? Am I
Yeah.
wrong to say not just like from Square Enix, but we heard one last week from Rockstar where they laid off
Mhm.
union workers in the UK. That was a bit of a pickle. Uh, if you want to know more about that, you can read it on like IGN or something. Where they laid off union workers and because they leaked something, but it was within a union Discord. So I don't
Mm.
know. Read all about it. But like at least once a week, we're hearing about a new layoff. I don't think we've seen this type of layoff, at least in my lifetime. Like, would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think it's very telling for where it is. I think I agree with you about the mass layoffs from the post pandemic have kind of stopped. I would say now at this point because they did overhire at that point and they've
Mm.
finally kind of like caught up to things. It's also an advancement of AI and how much it is. I think AI is one of the biggest threats that's going to
Oh,
pose to a lot of
absolutely.
these jobs. I don't think we're not even on the precipice on like how good it can actually get because I think people are underestimating how good it can actually get. And then on top of that as well, with this as well, there's a changing climate of content as well and how people buy games and what games they play because like games are still cheaper than inflation adjusted in the 1980s, 90s, but budgets and wages have been condensed where I know that people don't buy games at launch anymore as much as they used to do because
Yeah.
for myself I used to buy 5 or 6 games every year when I got a job for the first time because I was like I can finally buy games. I'm out of the poverty cycle. And when I say poverty cycle, I was very, very, I come from the lowest of like,
Who
my mum and dad used to make enough to put money on the table for food. And it's like I could finally buy a game. But then now I used to buy maybe 4 or 5 if I could at launch. I buy maybe one, two,
Yeah,
maybe that.
like who said it that like they were a CEO, I think it was Sega, that they said like, "Man, there was a lot more sport." No, it was PlayStation. It was I think it was Sean Layden that said like, "Man, there was just a lot more sports cars in the PS1 era than there was in the PS4 era."
Jim Ryan.
Was it? No. I don't think it was Jim Ryan that said it. I think it was Sean Layden that said like,
Really?
yeah, talk about the
That
history of like,
surprises me.
yeah. If you just look up an article, like there was more sports cars in the parking lot of the PS1 era. Like Google that, and that should come up with an article. I believe Sean Layden said that. Like it's one of those times where you put up the meme from Falcon, where it's just like he's out of line, but he's right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Sean Layden. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The Google thing pulled up what's his face? Shawn Michaels as well. I'm like, okay, that's not right. Yeah, primary links to former PlayStation US boss Sean Layden, who used an analogy involving sports cars to explain rising development costs. Oh, sorry. When I heard you say it, I thought you meant like I was thinking the opposite. That would make sense. It's Sean Layden. Yes, it's Sean Layden.
yeah, where he said that like again, he's out of line, but he's right in a way of just like
Yeah,
there's way too much development costs. Like people, there's less economy to go around.
yeah.
To go you economy is not just numbers. It's like when I say numbers, economy is not just about statistics, right? It's not
Hmm.
about just how the stock market is doing. It's how you feel in that economy. Do you feel
Yeah,
like you can afford that item? I was telling Adnan before we started this that like there was a restaurant that tried to recruit me, and like long story short, they were gonna pay me not enough to even eat at the restaurant that I will be working at. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's the kind of feeling of economy. I'm like, can I go out to eat? Can I buy a new game? Can
yeah,
I? Can I? You know? So yeah, this is getting ridiculous with like these layoffs. They're like, oh yeah, we can't afford to like get all these people in. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And this
yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, sorry. I'm
No,
just gonna,
no, no, you're right.
I'm gonna go on a rant about latest
No, you're right.
millionaires.
You're right. You're right. I think it's the same with when like the Fed and the Fed as well, even with Jerome Powell, when they look at the economy, they look at how people are
He
spending money and what they're
he
spending money
lowered
on.
interest
And
rates for a second time, dude, this year.
yeah, but I don't think you wanted to either. I
No.
mean, like in itself, I think with Jerome Powell as well, I think like he's pretty much on the verge of going out as well because Trump will elect a new Fed chairman, but that's a different story as well. That he very much wants to slash interest rates because he wants to stimulate um the economy, but then also that's going to cause higher inflation, and also people will start putting their money in the stock market rising. Yeah, let's not go into too much of the logistics there. I think it'll bore some people, but essentially what you're saying as well, it does predicate on this kind of conversation because they are slashing North America and Europe because they can't keep up with the financial expenditure. And we've been covering Square Enix recently a lot as well in the last year or so, and their books do show a lot in terms of why they are doing this as well, because that Western division just isn't profitizing as much as, like, Japan is a different culture as well. You see those things where people are like, oh, look at Japan, it's got this great thing. It's like, yeah, those people also sleep in that office, desks for 18 hours and doing ridiculous hours as well. Like, that might be a stereotype, but it's like kind of like that's the truth though, is people spending so much time working in Japan, and their Western IPs as well, which we'll come on to in a moment in the article, like they streamlined, they're going to axe people. And same with all publishers at the minute. Look at the Microsoft John Romero layoffs. Look at Don't Nod Montreal and Don't Nod in itself have been laying people
That's what
off.
I mean. Like,
Deck
we
Nine
hear
has
about
had
one like once a week.
yeah
I've
yeah
never seen layoffs to this level in my entire life.
yeah. Yeah, and it's rapid expenditure on game development, and the time it takes, and the returns aren't as big anymore. They're losing an audience. They're still making an audience. Let's not forget that the audience gaming is becoming popular, but I think it's becoming popular in different ways, where Roblox and Fortnite and other things are more popular than other pieces of medium. So it's like
Can I
Telltale in 2025 would
can
kind of like
I
struggle to.
bitch a little bit about that? We're just like, oh yeah, Fortnite. Oh man, we would pay you, but like Roblox is a thing. Ah, god damn it, dude. Like, oh, Fortnite, we would be profitable, but Fortnite's bullshit. I call severe bullshit on that, right? It's because you're chasing after Fortnite. It's because you're
Yeah,
chasing after these markets that you can't afford it, right? Look at WB Games, right? They're continuing to chase after it. They're continuing to chase after like games that are just like a live service, right?
yeah,
But what we saw from Don't Nod Montreal, right? And I'm gonna get into this. Don't Nod Montreal is staying in their lane, right? In terms of a business, they've had layoffs. Let's make that fair. Okay, they had layoffs. They got unprecedented. That is unfortunate, right? But they're rerouting. They said like, hey, Lost Records is traveling in the same path that we had established. Like we expected this, and now we're going to take on a new project that's going to bring in more money. Like they're going in
mm,
a path where they understand like, let's stay in our lane, let's
yeah,
go on a path. But because these companies, right, are just looking for the endless, and they're just like, oh, we would, but like, oh, what do we do about Fortnite? What do we do about Roblox? Oh, that's its own thing. That's its own thing. You just stay in your lane. They stay in their lane. That's how an economy works. Like everybody stays in their lane.
mm,
Everybody has a specific category, and that's how a healthy economy goes. But instead, in the games industry, we have the most boring games coming out, except for this year. For some reason, 2025, we have some banger games, but it's mostly indie and double A. But we're talking about triple A. We're talking about triple A. The most boring games are coming out because no one's staying in their lane. I so I'll let you take the mic because I'm gonna have an aneurysm pretty soon.
yeah. I think again, it's just a changing climate as well, and how people like they even the
Is
Sony
it
shift of
changing?
Jim Ryan.
Go for it. Is it go for it?
Yeah, I would say it is. I'd say it massively is because, like, in itself, like, I'm in my
Because
30s now. I'm no longer.
that's the thing though.
But
They're the ones changing it. They're the ones changing it.
yeah, but they also didn't adapt for it. So it's the same with Don't Nod Scale. If you look at Don't Nod Scale when they did the rebrand, they took too long to do that. That
Yeah.
pipeline took way too long, and they lost people because of it. People end up forgetting about games, like, oh, I've got a girlfriend and I don't want to, I'm not going to play games anymore. You've seen it. Yeah, it happens all the time where people get older and they don't play like games. The landscape changed, and then when there's a new generation of young people coming through, like Fortnite hooked them before anyone else, so they became like the Call of Duty entity where it's like you're gonna play us. Like for me, when you grew up, you played Call of Duty. So
Yeah.
people still do now, but now it's Fortnite. People like Fortnite or Roblox. It's like you play that.
I like
You
to
play
challenge
that
you
as
on
a
that. There is a
oh,
statistic that came out that I believe 30% of Fortnite players are under 18. 30%
yeah,
are under 18. The market is changing only because of the older market, right? The
yeah,
the older market with the ones with expendable income is the one changing it.
yeah.
Like if we're talking about the younger generation, it's not really the younger generation that you need to worry about. It's the generation that grew up with it. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the whole games
Well,
industry is just shooting themselves in the foot with this.
and that one thing though as well, when you said 30% and it's only 30% Fortnite, you're saying only 30% in Fortnite. How
Yes.
big is Fortnite? So it's like that 30%
Yeah.
is probably bigger than most game franchises and game publishers and
Yes.
what they'd get from it. Like I think Don't Know would scream for 30% of the
Yeah.
that audience from
Sure.
Fortnite because
Sure.
it's like so big of like how many it is. Like when you quantitate it, I imagine the numbers are big. But I know what you mean in the sense of the bigger picture. But the problem is when you're saying that there's that 70% market,
Yeah.
they've also lost that. So the developers of Square Enix, Don't Nod, all them, they've lost that because they didn't produce games over a long period of time to keep people. This is Telltale's success. Do you remember as
Yes.
well? It was Telltale's success and detriment. They've made too many games, and also they made enough games where people stayed interested in Telltale because it was always Tales from the Borderlands, Batman, da da da. You constantly had them to. It's like, oh, this is amazing. Unfortunately for them as well, they didn't invest enough to change
Yeah.
games as well, which where people started stagnating from it. So it's kind of a bit of a
I think it's
you're
also
damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't.
But I think it's also the argument that we say all the time that like these games aren't marketing themselves enough, right?
No,
So like I'm obsessed with Ghosts of Yote right now.
yeah,
Surprisingly, and I go to like indie game expo. So these guys are gamers with a capital G.
yeah,
The G spot gamers, if you will. But if you go to the gamers and I just say, "Hey, I'm playing Ghost of Yote," most of the time I actually say it and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, it's crazy. I'm like, I feel like I'm living in
yeah,
a Twilight Zone. I'm like, Ghost of Yote. Like, it's a major franchise in the PlayStation era, right? Not just that, but
yeah,
like it's a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. So, like, why when I say Ghost of Yote, a lot of people are just like, oh, what's that? Like
yeah,
they don't know. So, like, I'm not trying to say that Ghost of Yote flopped, right? There's people that knew
mm,
about it, right? But in a major PlayStation franchise, can I is it fair to say that the Ghost games are in a major ballpark, like the top 10 right now? Like
yeah.
for
Oh yeah, yeah.
bottom of
But
that
not
top 10, but
yeah.
like maybe like 9 or 10 in that top 10. But like we're talking about God of War. Like okay, so like major
It'd
places.
be their top 10. It'd be their top 10 easily. Yeah,
I'm gonna even say top
absolutely.
5 because like think about like you have God of War, right?
Yeah,
You have Horizon.
Horizon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Horizon. I'm not
Last of
counting
Us.
yeah, Last of Us. I'm not counting Spider-Man because Spider-Man is its own entity, right? But like
I
sure,
would say it would be in
sure,
there. I
sure,
think they class it as that.
sure, Spider-Man. What's another one that's like a big one? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm
I
not
don't know. I
trying,
feel like I've got something, but it's kind of slipped my mind. Then
but
there was something.
it's within that top 10. And when
Yeah,
people don't know about Ghost of Yote, it's because like they're not taking time to like market it, right? They're not taking time
yeah,
to like put it in people's faces. So it's just kind of like wild to me that like they're gonna say that like, oh well, the landscape's changing. I'm like, you're not marketing it. You're not
yeah,
it's the same thing that happened with Titanfall. Remember when Titanfall 2 happened? They like
yeah,
put it in the same place as Battlefield. So it's just like
yeah,
you're the ones that did it. You did it. You're
yeah,
dumb. And you're just like, man, the gamers. Oh, it's the gamers' fault.
yeah.
No,
I
screw
think
you.
again. I think we'll move into the next topic as well,
Yes,
and I think it
I'm
kind of
gonna
ties in with all the Square Enix
I'm
things.
gonna have a
I
I'm
think
gonna have a seizure. So we gotta move
yeah,
on.
but I think it ties. I think it ties in with a lot of things. 'Cause it's like with like Expedition 33, it had a cool, it had like a bit of a surge, but like in itself, that's kind of like quieted down. And then even with
Yeah,
Dispatch has kind of got a big surge because of all the people attached to it and everything else with it. But I think fandom has changed as well. I think the idea of that has changed. Like if
I
you were in
think
the
so.
Life is Strange fandom at one point, it was massive, and like now it's considered like niche and is a franchise. But even like other fandoms don't stand alone for as much as they
Not
used to in
like
the past.
Halo. Remember the midnight release
Yeah,
of Halo 2? Like
yeah,
that.
but again,
Yeah.
that's a bygone era, isn't it? Though you just said Halo, that was 2000s, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was early 2000s.
There's not the same franchise because I feel like I feel like we don't have those midnight releases, so you're not, like, in a
Yeah,
gathering of just, like, understanding, like, how many people, like, you don't see that
yeah,
physical number of people, like, and I feel like becoming a fan has become cringe now, like,
yeah,
it's become fandom has changed, but I also think that the games industry has shot themselves in the foot for
yeah.
not
Agreed.
marketing their games, not like
Yeah,
Halo 3. Halo 3, do you remember the marketing for Halo 3? It was
yeah,
everywhere, dude. Like,
yeah,
it was on 7-Eleven Slurpee cups, like Halo 3 and
yeah,
Halo 2. I remember getting the Halo 2 Slurpee cups, when I was a kid.
yeah.
But like Ghost of
They
Yote,
use traditional marketing.
yeah. Or even, Horizon, Forbidden West. How was that marketed? You know?
A lot of. I remember it being on the bus and stuff. It wasn't. Didn't cut through the same messaging because they had benefits of. I remember playing Gears of War 2, Gears of War 1 and back in the day,
Yeah.
and when the midnight release of Gears of War 2 came out, people were so pumped. Everyone was online like a couple of hours before, being like so excited because you
Yeah.
couldn't download it. You went and bought it. You had to go and buy Gears of War from the store. So people, I'm gonna go and
I
buy it.
had to bring
I'm
my
so
mom with
excited
me
for
to the
it.
midnight release
Yeah,
because, I was 17, 16, 17 when it came out.
yeah,
And I paid money for it. I did the pre-order, and then I got there. They're like, "Oh, we can't give it to you.
yeah.
You have my money." What do you mean you can't give it?
It, it,
So my mommy had to come in and get the game.
it's a bygone era. I remember the PS3 launches and people went and picked that up and you saw the photos of it. It feels like a bygone era, and that has had an impact on marketing.
Exactly.
Let's move into the next topic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's move
Sorry,
into the next
I'm
topic as
gonna
well, because
I'm gonna be going on this for a while.
because I know we've got other topics as well, and I think it's just worth getting them in whilst we are talking. So let me move us over here. As well, there you go. It's pulled up on screen. That's perfect. So this will be into the next part. So let me just double check this as well. Yeah. So right where we are. There we go. So as you can see, internally, a slide presentation now publicly available was also shared with employees earlier today, offered a progress report on Square Enix's ongoing quote-unquote reorganization of overseas organizations, end quote, of which restructuring seems to be part of. Per Square Enix, the strategy has already involved quote-unquote closing overseas development studios and shifting towards consolidating development functions in Japan. As part of this, Square Enix sold Crystal Dynamics, EDS Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, and a number of associated IPs to the Embrace Group. The Embrace Group, it also laid off those workers across its Western operations in 2024. That leaves Square Enix with Life is Strange, Outriders, and Just Cause franchises currently managed by its Western studios, as well as publishing
Great.
of Power Wash Simulator. And then let me just quickly pull this up here as well, as you can see. Does it come up on the screen? There you go. So that's the Square Enix report.
Yes.
As you can see there as well, the overseas structural reform as well. It says under the policy of shifting from quantity to quality, selective and focused approach being implemented as a result of reviewing development types and development structures in overseas operations. A restructuring expense of 11.8 billion yen is expected to be recorded in the fiscal year ending March 2026 to strengthen development capabilities from a group-wide perspective and to further optimize resource allocation for maximizing the value generated by IP. A further review of development pipeline was conducted. As a result, a decision was made to close overseas development studios and shift towards consolidating development functions in Japan. The management of IP previously overseen by overseas development studios will be globally integrated. In addition, development support functions and personnel allocation both in Japan and overseas will be reviewed from the perspective of overall group optimization. So that kind of bleeds into our next topic, as you can see there, which is kind of like addressing big parts of Square Enix's kind of structure plan that they got up there.
So here's the thing. So, Square Enix is quite easily the dumbest game publisher ever known to be so stupid, like incredibly, when I talk about like you shoot yourself in the foot, you got an M16 and just like fired the entire magazine into your foot, your ankles, your shins, like you just like tore it all off. So what you're telling me that Square Enix, they're just like, oh man, we need more money. Man, I would like, okay. Sure, Life is Strange. That is a very niche, right? Like they sold off for some reason. They sold off Tomb Raider to Embracer. Dumb. That was stupid. But like, sure, and you have Life is Strange. It's a very niche audience, right? You have Outriders, which such a poor launch, dude. Like, not even like bugs, but just like you just didn't market it. Like, not a lot of people knew about it, and I think that was a very fun game. Like, Outriders could have been like that like MMO RPG that could have brought in a lot of money. We're talking like RuneScape money, right? I won't say that. That's hyperbole. But Outriders was that thing. If we're talking about like a good like a good money maker that could be like a live service, Just Cause. Just Cause. That is like the perfect franchise to have like a live service or like RPG into it. Just Cause. Have you ever played a Just Cause game, Madden?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, dude. It's Just Cause. In the world of just like, does the GTA story even matter to a lot of people? Right? What do they do in GTA? What do they do? Things you can do in Just Cause. You know, like we.
However,
Yes.
just to argue this as well
Sure.
and play
Sure.
devil's
Go for it.
advocate, which I agree with as well. Rockstar, for all their detriments, even delaying the new Grand Theft Auto, which is not a
Oh my
surprise, by the way,
god,
as well.
that was
That's not not a surprise at all.
no,
But like if you
it's
follow
rock
Jason Schreier yeah, it's expected. But the thing is though, with Rockstar, even if people are fed up with them not releasing Grand Theft Autos every like couple of years as they did in the PS2 era, PS3 era, etc., and we've had this massive gap. Rockstar innovated Grand Theft Auto as well with Grand Theft Auto Online. They revolutionized that entire gaming franchise with Grand Theft Auto Online.
Just Cause Online.
Just Cause, but they left it too long. That
I
Just Cause
know.
reminds me of Far Cry. It was like Far Cry. It's like, okay, cool, we'll make it. Ubisoft perfected its Watchtower formula, started implementing it, but it never went into that next evolution of what Far Cry was meant to be. They thought it was going to be Coke forever, and it wasn't Coke. It became basically like, the branded equivalent that you find in your local American store, the UK ones that you find.
RC
They never
Cola.
innovated it more. Article, yeah, there you go. So they never innovated it beyond that. So what they left it was just this IP where it
Yeah.
continues, and eventually Just Cause people fall off it because they're like, oh, actually, what I'm going to do this? It's the exact same game every single time,
And
and
they
it's the same with
yeah.
that portfolio of games. Because do you remember the leaks as well? When saying like Life is Strange could be like a bit of live service, it has like stuff in it as well in the previous leaks that we covered, and they never innovated it. Even Life is Strange feels dated. Play Life is Strange now, it feels dated. It feels locked in 2015.
Yeah.
It's never reinvented itself ever major. That's an issue in itself. You can tell anthology stories, you can make it limited budgets, but it has to move forward as well. And again, this
Look
is a
at Assassin's
repeat of the
Creed.
Telltale formula. Exactly. They jumped on the ship even later than Sucker Punch did with Japan. Everyone was screaming for feudal Japan. We want an Assassin's Creed game. They're like,
For a
nah, no one wants it. And then
decade.
yeah, and in that time, Sucker Punch was like, yeah, cool, we'll make Ghost of Tsushima, and we'll also make Ghost of Yote. And they are now the gold standard. It's the same again with CD Projekt Red. They are the gold standard for RPGs with The Witcher. When Fallout 4 came out, I remember afterwards, people were like, well, Bethesda's not really that great, are they,
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
CD Projekt? And it's again, you have to innovate with things as well. So when you're saying it's like, yeah, Just Cause is that, and it's a big thing, but they never evolved it though. It just stayed Just Cause. And I'm sitting there
And that's
thinking
what I
like, oh, I
mean, though.
remember
It's
Just Cause 3. It was okay, but like,
like
after that,
they sold off all these IPs, and then they, for some reason, kept the IPs and like, I don't want to use this, but we'll keep it anyway. That
yeah,
why'd you get rid of Tomb Raider? Why'd you get rid of Hitman?
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex? What? That would have been another IP that they would
Yeah.
have just like squandered anyway. They're already squandered.
Well, they did.
They did.
They did
Like,
squander it.
they 100% squandered Deus Ex, but they kept these games and just like, but then you like put double exposure out, but like we're not
Yeah.
talking about Outriders, like I don't know, and like you said, the Just Cause series, like what are you doing? Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you're just like, oh, we got to rebrand because oh, what decisions are we making? You have Just
Yeah.
Cause. You have Just Cause.
They,
Like
they
just
couldn't evolve it, Adam.
yeah,
They Square Enix's history, if you look at some of the games, they didn't know how to do it. So when you said Hitman, for example, what was that one thing they tried to do with Hitman? They made it episodic. Do you remember that?
I
It was
do.
like, why
I
is
remember
Hitman episodic?
because
And
it
that
would
was in the, do you remember
evolve.
the wave?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but that was the Evolve because everyone else was doing it. Because I remember Capcom did it with Resident Evil Revelations. Do you remember the split? And you're like, hang on a minute, this is just the same game, but you've split it down the middle. It's like, wait a minute, it's not even structured like an episodic game. And it's the same with Hitman. Hitman felt so out of place with it. It's like, why is this episodic? It makes no sense. It's like just a little bit, are people
Yeah.
really going to come back for that? You know,
No, and
people want
that's
to play it as 47 in one full swoop. They don't want to play episodic games. It's
this
like,
this goes back to me talking about like the first section that we talked about where like you're shooting yourself in the foot,
yeah,
right? Like you can make the argument for like, oh, Fortnite exists. I wish we could make money, but like Fortnite exists, like you could make that argument until your face turns blue, but then you have tools, right? It's I'm gonna say it's excuses, right? I used to like when I say used to, I mean like a month ago. Like I disagreed with Mike Ybarra where he said like Xbox is using the tariffs as an excuse, right? But it's really just poor business practices. I'm like, well, it has to do with tariffs. And then they made Xbox Game Pass $30 a month, and then they raised the price of Xbox
mm,
consoles, and then they put out the $1,000 handheld. I'm like, oh, I agree with Mike Ybarra right now. So there's not a lot of times I agree with Mike Ybarra, but that was one of the few times I agree with Mike Ybarra.
mm,
And it goes into this. Like you can say Fortnite in the same way tariffs, right?
yeah,
It's definitely a factor, 100%. Like I'm not trying to say that like Fortnite isn't an impact in the same way tariffs aren't an impact, but at the same time,
mm,
how many times are going to use that crutch? You know,
yeah,
how many times? Because
yeah. And
yeah,
And it's a fair point as well because like when Fortnite emerged as well, they all tried open world games as well. Call of Duty tried it. What's the other one?
Warzone.
Is the zombie one? Yeah, with Warzone, but there's another game. I can't remember what it's called now. It's quite famous. It did an online open world. I can't remember what his name was. It
Are
was
you
a
talking
shooter
about?
game.
Are you talking
Um,
about Back for Blood?
yeah, I think it might have been that.
Yeah, Back for
Yeah, so I
Blood.
think like
Yeah,
they've all tried it. They've all tried to like then entrench into Fortnite territory because they did it. So it's like they tried it, but it didn't successfully work. And that's the issue with him. So one thing here's an example to kind of cross compare it. For example, when like Snapchat introduced its story feature, Meta was smart by doing stories on Instagram and
oh,
also with Facebook and stuff. Like, no, but like, listen, you have to accept it
I
because
know, I
they
know.
they they did really well with it. And it's the same with YouTube Shorts. People are like YouTube Shorts are stupid. They are absolutely stupid. Google can't believe this. They are now so popular with young people, YouTube Shorts. Like I remember literally 2 weeks ago, people were like, Google is going to die because ChatGPT has introduced a browser. Oh my God, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Stock price fell off the
Which
planet
is
with Google and it
so
literally
funny
bounced back up.
that
And
ChatGPT
it's
has
like,
a browser, but ChatGPT in of itself is a browser.
yeah, but
Like,
ChatGPT, Sam Altman is built on a charity. Is not meant to be non-profitable. That's what OpenAI is. You can't.
yeah,
There's so many parameters. But it's like when people react in that kind of way, and say with Google, people are like it's a dinosaur. It's never going to evolve. It's going to fall off. Google, like there are people who watch this who don't know what Ask Jeeves is or Yahoo and stuff, and the story of those platforms being
yes,
massive. Google is the biggest platform on the planet. And what they're doing now is they keep evolving. So the Gemini AI is powerful. Google own the two biggest search engines in the world, i.e. Google.com and YouTube.com. You're watching this on YouTube if you're watching on or unless you're watching on podcasts, you're watching this on YouTube. They innovated, they kept changing it. Same with Meta, kept changing it. It was like, you know what, Facebook's going to exist, they'll keep
yeah.
using it, but they're going to include Instagram. Last earnings report with Meta, over 3 billion people use their platforms every single day in a
Which is
month. One
wild.
of the three that
Yeah,
yeah, WhatsApp, Instagram, or Facebook, they use one of those three platforms. Over 3.5 billion people use that a day. That's almost half the population. And it's like you sit there thinking, like, they continuously evolve. Same with Microsoft. And it's the same with the issue with Microsoft and its Xbox. They never evolved it. They just kept going with it. They turned it into a
and why?
live service thing. They're like, oh, because Netflix is making streaming videos. We can stream games. It's like, no, people didn't want that. It's
Why?
never
And
proved
why
off
would
it.
because like the government is not like any government. I'm not talking about the American government. No governments are like checking these balances, right? Like they're not checking these tech billionaires. They're just going to make a monopoly, and we're suffering over it. They're going to make this monopoly, and especially with Microsoft and Activision, like that's just damaging the games industry, not just with us, but with the actual workers, because now they have to lay off to make it up. But the government just like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Capitalism makes healthy competitiveness, except for when we get to late stage, and now there's no competitors. So it's great.
It's so hard because like with Square Enix is like if you look at that earnings and stuff like the Japan division is the strongest. It's with Final Fantasy. Even Final Fantasy is not as profitable as people think it is.
No,
Like it has a
no.
brand IP and stuff. It's been so hit and miss over the last couple of weeks, a couple of years and stuff. And like it only
Like,
recently with
how
like
did
the
16
remake
do?
series. I don't think it. See. This is the thing. I don't know how well it sold off the top of my head. I think it sold okay, but it didn't sell anywhere near as good as it could have done. Like
No.
it's kind of forgotten. I played it. I signed off on it because I was like, I'm bored of this story. I didn't like the idea of it. The entire part of it. I prefer the remake trilogy of Seven. Like they're brilliant. But
Sure.
again, that's going to remake trilogy. And I have a history with Square Enix in terms of my introduction was 13, and I really enjoyed that. But so many people despised 13, and Square
Mm.
dug their heels in and went 3 games with Lightning because they wanted to make Lightning, the Cloud Strife female equivalent. She was doing, was it Versace or something? I can't remember which of the Louis Vuitton, Lightning X Louis Vuitton range that they did as well. They promoted that stuff. Final Fantasy 15 went into
Which
development hell because of it.
can we do that retrospective that like you're talking about they marketed to Louis Vuitton, but I brought up
Yeah.
Halo 2 being on 7-Eleven Slurpee cups.
Yeah.
That wage gap in between who they're trying to market to is
Yeah.
vast. From a 7-Eleven Slurpee, right?
Yeah.
To Louis Vuitton. Who's your market?
Ju-
Who's your market?
And to
Yeah.
factor into this as well, because only recently, I don't follow as much as well. WWE recently struggled to sell 2 shows out in back-to-back shows they did.
Right.
And the TKO president came out. Is it TKO president? Someone from
Yes, it was
TKO, a
TKO.
figurehead, came out and said, we're putting Vince McMahon didn't put the price up on tickets. Now we're going to take advantage of it. Vince McMahon, for all his detriment, everyone's heard of him. I find it surprising that people think Vince McMahon's not an effed up person if you ever read about his
Oh
history.
yeah,
But
no.
like Vince McMahon was one of the smartest men on the planet because what he realized was wrestling has to be a working class root sport, because what you want is people's butts to be in the seats at stadiums. They bring their kids, we sell them merchandise, they come to the show and they get hooked. What you're doing is you're keeping people hooked on the product because it's technically free, because what they're doing is no, in the sense of not free, it's affordable, because what they're going to do is they're going to be able to come to stadiums with their kids because they're watching on TV at home when it's meant to be affordable on prices. If you lock that market out, for
Yes.
example,
For
you are
your
not
Louis
thinking
Vuitton
about the
market.
long. Yeah, and lose what if you do not invest for the long term, then you lose the next generation of audience because they are not going to go to events. You're seeing it now with gigs as well, music gigs. People do not go to music gigs as much anymore because you're locking them out from going to them. Musicians were popular because you could go back in the day and see them for cheap prices.
Not even
I
back
kind of
in
get why
the day,
they're doing it.
like 15 years ago. Like
Yeah, of course
I
it was.
remember I saw Coheed and Cambria, like a whole night of Coheed, where they played the entirety of
Yeah.
their first album, and then it had like an opening act too. And it was like $15 a ticket. $15.
Yeah, I saw Slipknot. I know I saw Stone Sour and Avenged Sevenfold for £21 at the Manchester Academy, and
Yes.
it's like that was like how long ago? That was almost 15 years ago, if not
That's what
more
I
than
mean.
17 years ago.
15 years
I
ago.
saw I, I saw Zed at Manchester Gorilla for like less than £30. Like the most I ever spent was on like Reading Festival. I think it was like £120. I don't even know how much that ticket is now. It's probably
God,
if
yeah.
I hazard a
Vans
guess, it's
Warped
probably like
Tour.
150 or something.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like Warped Tour, Vans Warped Tour. Like that was,
Oh,
I can't remember how much it was, but I don't I remember being able to afford it as a high schooler. Like that, I
yeah,
can't remember. It had to be like 45. I remember going to music festivals for like 45, like a weekend pass for like 45
yeah.
bucks. Like Rev
And
Gen, Warped Tour.
yeah, and what you're saying as well when you said the Slurpee thing about like the marketing, why is double exposure $80? Why are you putting it on the top end of a price tag? It's not that kind of game. It can never be marketed at that time
Yeah.
at that price. That is almost quadruple, I'd say, the price of freaking Life is Strange 1 if you compare it in the metrics.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like 60, 70 quid I'm buying for double exposure, and then back in the day, Life is Strange 1 was like £20 off the thingy store. I was like, how have you made it that
Yeah.
expensive and made it locking out of people? And you saw that. Do you remember as well? Here's Max's Doc Martens, and here's the Polaroid camera. Here's the collector's edition. Here's the vinyl, the collector's box. It was then renamed the collector's box because
Not
they didn't put the
only
game in it.
not only did they have Slurpee cups, but remember this, that they had the most iconic in Halo 3, they had the most iconic Mountain Dew flavor of all time. They not
Oh
only
yes,
they not only got the working class, but they got one of the best flavors of Mountain Dew to ever exist. And that was due
yeah,
to Halo 3 marketing. But again, we're going to the working class, right? And
yeah,
that's where we are. Like they're not marketing to the working class. They're marketing towards people who are just like in it. They're marketing towards the influencers. Like that's the thing. They're
Yeah.
marketing towards the influencers and they're talking about like Slay Queen. I don't know, 6'7", you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know 6'7", Evan?
No,
6'7". Don't you know?
6'7".
6'7".
Yeah, it's something. Let's just move into the next part. There's a
Yeah,
couple of topics
6'7"
left
to
before
this
we wrap
one.
up
Yeah.
here. And this kind of shows you the layoffs, because this is where it kind of really bleeds into Life is Strange. That is the wrong one. That's coming to the next section. Ignore me. So let me
Boo.
change this. So why is it not doing that? It's not even switched over. Great. I need to
That's
speak to the man about that. Okay, that's that one, and I'm gonna grab this one here. I think that's right. Yeah, can you see that?
yeah, I can. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
There we go. Yeah.
move that there. So as you can see there, there's Josh Elkington, who works at Square Enix, who works on the Life is Strange division. Let me just pull up his exact thingy. He's not in the credits. Why is he not in the credits? There he is. He's a community manager on Double Exposure. And he put there as well on LinkedIn amid all this recent news as well, which is put, guess who's now open to work with no troublesome notice period due to recent Square Enix restructuring. I'm now seeking my my next opportunity. I'm looking for roles in creative marketing and community leadership. With 13 years in media and entertainment and nearly a decade at Square Enix, I've led global campaigns, creative strategies, and community engagement for major game franchises. I specialize in brand storytelling, marketing, story communication strategies, and creative direction across community, social, and video. I'm hands-on, collaborative, and love building campaigns that genuinely connect with audiences. If you know of any roles in games, entertainment, or creative marketing, I'd love to chat. And he's like just one of them as well in terms of examples. There's quite a few. I've just pulled up a couple of them.
Yeah.
This was a big one. This was really something. This is Lucy Hale, who's Square Enix's brand video creator. She put here as well.
Man. I can't believe this one.
You're telling me. You've likely seen these open to work posts prepping to your homepage. Many of your Square Enix colleagues, from many of my Square Enix colleagues, and here I am throwing my hat in the ring. After 7+ years at Square Enix, yesterday's restructure and redundancies hit my role, and now I'm open to work. It's difficult to have creative skill sets in an ever AI leaning world. If you're somebody who cherishes human made assets, give me a shout. And you can see there as well. In terms of all the roles that she's done and stuff like that. She's worked at Game previously, even Game as well. That was destroyed because of the Fraser Group and stuff like that in between it. You know, if you try and find a game in the UK now, it's almost impossible because Fraser Group's management of it. Square Enix there as well. All her different roles, and then another one as well. For example, I only pulled a couple up. There's tons of them as well, which kind of tells you a lot about things. Hey team, so this is from Izzy Jagan as well, who's global PR manager at Square Enix. Put, hey team, fortunately, my role has been impacted at recent layoffs at Square Enix and is now at risk. So I'm on the hunt for a new role. Please do reach out if you know of anything or just catch up, or just want to catch up. Yeah, I remember Izzy as well. I remember interacting with Izzy. That's quite crazy.
That's another
just
one. Yeah, like you said, like they're getting rid of talent, but we have one more. I don't want to interrupt.
do we have another one? Another one?
Rhianne Gorman.
Oh yes, Rhianne. Oh yes, this is I think the biggest kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
So let me just change this over. Can you see on the screen? Yeah,
Mhm.
there you go. So as you can see, Rhianne is on her honeymoon, and yeah, she found out that she's being laid off at Square Enix. Well, not laid off.
During her
She
honeymoon.
could be facing.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
yeah.
put there as well. She put there in the caption saying, "Got told I'm likely to be made redundant 2 days into my honeymoon. At least it's all inclusive here, so I can enjoy drinks."
Yeah.
So she could face it. I know Rhianne as well. I remember her from
Yeah.
a long time ago.
But that's what I mean,
And
though. It's
she,
just like, let's change to something else so we're not just like talking over
yes, we're gonna
video.
move back to Lucy
Yeah,
Hale.
but let's
Let's put
move
Lucy
back
Hale
to
back on
Lucy
screen.
Hale here. It's just like, and when Rhianne talked about on her honeymoon, we talked to Becker about his story of how he was laid off during his parental leave buying diapers. You know, uh, and Lucy Hale.
Oh yeah, great job. Just like looking at, I'm on my honeymoon, just got married, and it's like, oh yeah, I could lose my job. Oh yeah, I'm in another country and I could just lose my job. Like,
I remember I got laid off from a job. It was my first year of marriage, first year in my marriage, and I got laid off 1 week before Christmas. Like
oh,
yeah,
that's we'll come on to that, actually. No, leave that. I'm reminding me in that, and we're going to do the statement part. because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
relates to the statement where you're being laid off.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing. It's like all these things, like layoffs are not something I wish on my worst enemy. Like as much as I talk about like how much I disagree with Aisha Farah's work on double exposure, I would not wish a layoff on my worst enemy. And Aisha Farah is not my
Mm.
enemy. I just disagree with her as a creative, right?
Yeah.
If Aisha ever came to me and just like let's hang out, like yeah, no, she wouldn't say that because I'm an asshole. But if I'm just trying to say that like layoffs are not a thing that you want to wish on people.
Yeah.
I don't wish
And
it's yeah,
these people are foot soldiers.
that's what I
They're the
mean.
foot soldiers. They're the pawns on the chessboard, and they are basically those people who get the front line flack for a lot of things when there are a
But
lot
this
of the
is
people who should take in blame.
and I think these layoffs right here, especially like these PR, like these leads who are making content, the ones who, like you said, they're foot soldiers. And when we're saying that like they're not marketing their games, that's also that they're taking away their ears to the ground. So
Yeah.
you have all these tech billionaires and these stockholders who are just so disingenuous with the world, which the best way I've ever heard it say from Wombat on CADcast. He once said, like, if you have enough money to fly to France for lunch, to fly home,
Yeah.
you are no longer connected to reality. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who can just fly to France for lunch and then make it home. You are not
Yeah.
connected to reality. You are in a different reality plane. Then you have
Yeah.
people like Lucy Hale, and you have Rhianne, you have Joshua, and like you have Izzy. You have all these people who have their ears to the ground to tell you as you fly to France, this is what people want. So now you
Yeah.
disconnected your ear, and now you're just like, I bet people want Louis Vuitton Final Fantasy. That's
Yeah.
what they want. Like it's
And do you know what as
yeah,
well? She is incredibly talented. She's very, very talented, because if you
insanely
look at the stuff
talented.
that she
Yeah.
and if you look at the stuff that she does on the YouTube channel, especially on TikTok, like they the numbers they post on TikTok is like ridiculous, and it's because of her, like, her voiceovers and the way she does the videos and stuff. She's incredibly smart. She's very, very gifted. She's a very good content creator. She's in the engagement pool. If you were someone at the executive branch, you would listen to someone like her because you'd get insight into what the fandom is reacting to and what they're liking, what they don't like, etc. And the worst part for me as well, when she's like put her open to work and she's there after 7 years, she will even find it difficult to find a job in this climate as well because of how destructive they've been to with everything in terms of AI and video content creation. Like, her job is becoming quote unquote almost useless. Yet she reminds me of what Ashley Birch said, where it's like you can try and do AI voice acting, which you can do it, but you eliminate the emotions from someone, which is the big
Yes.
thing. You eliminate that entire thing, and like all those videos that she makes are driven on human emotion and understanding of things and everything in between it. So it's like with her, I feel so sorry for her because she's very talented. She's very, very good at making content around Life is Strange. And same with Izzy. Izzy was fine. Like when I spoke to Izzy, when I emailed with her and back and forth, I never ever thought like, oh, Izzy's like, doing this or like, stopping it. I understood that she's literally a pawn within the machine of like, Square Enix and Life is Strange. Like, I can't take issues with any of the foot soldiers because they're just basically doing their job within this massive cog. I remember speaking to Rhianne very many years ago because
Yeah.
I was doing my dissertation at MA, and she was lovely to speak to as well. So it's like, I just feel sorry for her to be in that place as well. Like, even with double exposure, like seeing all the criticisms and the reviews and stuff against her work, it's not a blight against what she did because she tried her best in whatever capacity
Yeah.
she did. We can't see the behind the scenes optics with everything. Well, some of us can't, but like, it's in the sense of, I could see the things, but we've seen Lucy Hale and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is, again, it's just indicative of where they are going with this entire state of things. And
And
maybe it's worth bleeding in.
it's
Hold
business
on.
people that like I remember when I was a general manager at a coffee shop and I had disagreements with the owner. Like not even just like, oh, I could do it better, but like talking about putting instead of nitrogen in your cold brew, you put nitrous oxide in your cold brew, kind of like disagreement. Which was a thing. So I remember when I had arguments with him, and I was the general manager. I was the one making the
Yeah.
schedule, and I was one like trying to boost sales and all that. Like that was my job. And I said to him, I
Mhm.
was like, "Well, what happens when I leave? What happens?"
Yeah.
He literally just, without any hesitation, he said, "Everybody's replaceable.
Yep.
Everybody's replaceable." So it's just like, no matter how much talent you have, no matter how much work you put in, that owner, at least now, it wasn't always like this, right? It wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
Um, you always got screwed as a worker. Like, let's be real. If you ever watch Christmas Vacation, and like that the whole point of like Christmas Vacation is he's getting screwed as a worker. But at least there was some respect at the end, right? But now it's just everybody's replaceable. No human beings matter because AI is a thing, and we can just replace talent no matter what. Doesn't matter how many years you put in, you're replaceable. This is some crap, dude. This is some crap, man. So that's great. And we now live in an administration that's currently just like feeding off of tech billionaires. So we're in an oligarchy here in America. We're in an oligarchy around the world. So except for Ireland, you're doing just fine, Ireland. So that's nice for Ireland. Go drink your Guinness while you have a creator fund.
Yeah. Should we jump into the next part? Because I think it kind of links into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As well.
Do you like Guinness?
No. My brother loves it though.
Yeah.
He's like a fiend for it.
Yeah.
So as you see here, Square Enix has shared a statement of IGN confirming the layoffs, but did not respond to the question about a number of individuals impacted, what roles, or if projects or specific studios were impacted. They said as well, Square Enix has said in a statement, we are reorganizing our operations in North America and Europe to strengthen our development structure and to drive globally integrated marketing strategies. This was an extremely difficult decision made following careful consideration and analysis by our leadership in order to best position the group's long-term growth. We extended the heartfelt gratitude to the talented team members who will be departing our company for significant contributions to Square Enix. During this period, we remain committed to treating each individual with the utmost respect and providing extensive care and support throughout. So yeah, basically it kind of wraps into the entire conversation, which kind of was backing on that statement I was going to say as well, where it says, made with following consideration and analysis by our leadership. If this doesn't remind me of the Deck 9 thing where we start laying off people just before the holiday season, where, offices start closing. So you're basically going to Christmas with a very short time frame to potentially look for a new job when most of these jobs end up closing for a couple of weeks over Christmas period. So they could end up going to 2026 unemployed.
Yeah, that's what happened to me, like 100%.
Careful consideration.
Yeah, by the way, I cannot wait to release my next Christmas album because like my opening sketch is following like statements like this. So I don't know if you can tell, audience, of how much I'm against AI and layoffs and all this crap, but I think it's gonna be pretty blunt in the Christmas EP that I'm putting out. It's gonna be very blunt. But what I'm gonna say is like careful consideration. What was it? Oh, thank God. Thank God you did some careful consideration and analysis by your leadership. Oh, thank the leader. The leader. Remember that Simpsons episode when they're in the cult? It's like the leader. Like we have to follow.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. Like we remain committed to treating each individual with the utmost respect. Yeah. Is that right? The utmost respect and the utmost respect that legal team, the minimum that a legal team will tell us to do. So good on you, Square Enix. Yippee! I'm so glad you take all this consideration and go fuck yourself.
I know, it's just like you watch it and you're like, yeah, really you care about people when you do it during the holiday season. It's like we're doing the slashing before the next fiscal budget starts to come into place, like for the earnings report and stuff. It's just ridiculous. Like, there's girl who's just on your honeymoon just then. It's like we've done that. It's like we're back the year before. It's like, yeah, he's or the year before that when he's getting diapers for his kid. Yeah, we're just like, we'll lay him off there and, we'll put people in uneasy situations. It's so horrible because, like, basically in the current climate, you're basically one step away from financial disaster. And I will argue this all the way for the world. This climate is the worst. F off with the 2008 financial crisis. That was a different situation because you were able to recover. Like if you, in the post 2008 financial crisis, you were able to eventually recover because assets went up, the economy started to grow up a little bit. It gradually slowed down, but we are at a juttering halt completely. Like there was a bad time in 2008. It was really bad. You could see everything else with it. But Apple's stock value compares that. Now, if you put that money in Apple there and you were one of those people smart invest as well, you've literally set yourself up for life right now for how much money you've made from it. Now we're in peak. Every margin is squeezed. Every opportunity is squeezed. Every bit of talent is squeezed.
Yeah.
I think about this as well, this news as well. If Alejandro was there, Alejandro would have probably been slashed from this point as well because of where Square Enix London is going.
Yeah.
With what they're doing there. So it's like, I kind of sit here thinking like, oh, great, there's, more people just being laid off.
No,
It's horrid. It's horrid. It's crooked. And I think maybe if it works for you, we could kind of bleed this into the last part of
yeah,
the
yeah,
segment as well, because it'll kind of
I'm gonna have a lot
ulterior
to say
motive as
about this
well.
one. Yeah.
So as you can see here at the bottom of Rebecca Valentine's article, in the same presentation shared today, Square Enix also shared that expects 70%, move us out of the way, that expects 70% of its work to be handled by generative AI by the end of 2027. The company has stated that it intends to quote unquote be quote unquote aggressively in applying AI across both development and publishing, which mainly applies to QA work, is what they're trying to say. And as you can see here as well, it's in that earnings report as well. Where the hell is it? I've been looking at this for the last couple of days. And it's driving me crazy. It was in here somewhere where it says AI is like 70% of its thingy plan. Let me have a quick look, see if I can search it. 70. There it is. There it is.
Great.
So as you can see, a joint development of game AI automation technology using generative AI with the Matuso Iwasabi Laboratory, the University of Tokyo. Goal: automated 70% of QA and debugging tasks in game development by the end of 2027 through the use of automation technology aimed to improve the efficiency of QA operations and establish a competitive advantage in game development. So yeah.
We did it, everybody. We did it. We did it. We're taking away more jobs from people. We're taking entry level jobs from people. This is great for the working class. This is great for the games industry. This is good on you. Good. I'm so glad that we're taking away more jobs from people. 70. So 70. 70? Am I right? It's not 17.
70.
70. So if you don't know what QA, why that's important that it's a human doing quality assurance is because humans will know what a human can do and not just the automation, right? Generative AI does not understand certain bugs. There was one developer, and I can't remember who it was, but he put out like a blue sky tweet just saying like generative AI will not detect this kind of bug. Generative AI will not detect this kind of bug.
Yeah.
There's all these different things that like we're actively taking jobs. What are you reaching for?
Nothing else, just mean something that.
Okay, I was like, are you reaching for like an eject button for me?
Time.
But like we are actively taking away entry level jobs. Quality insurance is like one of the first things you can start in game development. That's saying like, hey, we work as a quality assurance, a QA tester, move up in the ranks, make your relationships, and become a developer out of quality insurance. This is like a path that you're now robbing the games industry for. And 70%, and we were talking about this.
Yeah.
We were talking about this off podcast, but like the fact that like I can't find good line cook work, right, is because I work in the tech era, right, of North Carolina. When you take away tech jobs, right, when you take away tech jobs, or you take away anything that AI is going to take over, they still need money, right, to eat. So where are they going to go? So these tech people will go to. I'm not blaming tech people, by the way. If you need a job, you go to restaurants. That's how you make money, right? But then it allows restaurants to say like, oh, because you don't have a lot of qualifications, we're going to pay you less, and because they're going to pay them less, that means that like, oh, well, it's not fair to pay me higher because we have a balance here, blah, 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 blah. And it just ruins the entire economy of like labor work, like line cooking.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go to like blue collar work, right? Because they got to feed their families. So it's taking away jobs from me, a skilled worker, all in turn because people are just like, oh, AI is the future. So we're taking away jobs from everybody, and we're screwed. Like this is everything that Henry Ford like tried to fight against, right? Henry Ford was the one that introduced a 40-hour work week so that people can leave their jobs and buy his cars. Like that was a whole goal of a 40-hour work week, is that like, oh, so that you can go out and buy my crap, right? He made higher wages, right? We have a minimum wage out of was it FDR that made minimum wage? I want to say, pretty sure it was FDR. I might be stupid, but we have people like saying minimum wage so that you have money to buy things, right? We have to have the steady income for the working class so that we can buy things. But if you're taking away jobs, how are we going to buy things? It's just backwards, dude. It's so backwards. It's so
It
backwards.
was FDR.
It was FDR. Let's go, baby. Civics class, baby. But yeah, it's just dumb. It's so dumb. Like we're fighting against everything that we fought for, at least here in America. You in Britain, you fought for fish and chips and beans in your Chinese food. So I don't know what you guys are fighting for, but you're fighting
for Lucy Hale.
You're fighting. You have Winston Churchill, so you got that going for you. Everything else, what has England ever gave to the world? You know. Name one thing that England has ever given to the world that America hasn't done better. You say Shakespeare, we have Matt Groening. So take your leave there. So take your bow.
Wow. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this? Do you like this? Yeah.
It's just sad, isn't it? It's just like, here we go, just slash more jobs down to 70% of QA jobs, and there goes that. And it's just like,
how are you supposed to enter into anything now? How are you supposed to enter if you don't have entry level? You know?
No, but that's the thing though. I guess I said it again as well. Like, this is quote unquote like the best standard of living to grow up in terms of like you have everything in place. Like the world isn't, the world is just kind of like constantly evolved to the point where the standards are like a little bit better in terms of other factors. But it's just one of those places where like if you're a new generation of people, it's so difficult to even get anywhere. Like you getting on the property ladder, getting a sustainable wage. Like you can't buy a house on one wage anymore. You have to buy two wages where two people are on like a steady income and it has to be kept there. Rising childcare costs, every aspect as well. Again, I'll say it to the end of the earth. This is the most difficult period of time. If you pulled anyone who's financially made it and put them in this position, their asses would fall out because like it's just really, really difficult climate to navigate because it's not just buying your $5, $5 for Starbucks anymore. Like, buying your $6-7 Starbucks coffee. Everything's just inflated beyond belief.
6-7.
Yeah, everything's just inflated beyond belief. They've run it all into where they're at, and now it's like this as well. So you're basically screwing over the job market. People used to be able to just go and hand like you used to speak to like your grandparent, they'd be like, "Why don't you just go in and just like give them a CV and they'll give you? Oh, you don't have to give a CV, just go and speak to them. They'll give you a job." And it's like, yeah, it's not the 1970s anymore.
15 years ago, again. Like I remember, I got my job at GameStop because I constantly went in and I said, "I want to work here. I want to work here," and I work here.
Yeah.
I bothered them. And I got the job. Like I would.
Now you wouldn't.
Now I can't.
You get it thrown out.
Dude, like, when I'm looking for new work now, and it's just like I'll call these places. These are restaurants, like which by the way, restaurants are considered pink collar. I hate that. So there's white collar, there's blue collar, and there's pink collar line cook work. That's because the blood gets on our white coats and it becomes pink. But I'll call these restaurants and it's like I'm bothering them. Like, why would you call me? Why would you do that? Like, it's just annoying them now. And I'm like, 15 years ago, you could do that. But now it's just like you got to apply online and just play the lottery from there. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
We're in the.
And it's difficult for that as well because you're locking people out of retail jobs as well, which were like easy to get into. Like people have to do like 3 or 4 screenings before they even get into one. It's like then people like, why am I even bothering for this? And then wonder why productivity is down, why people aren't going for career jobs. Career jobs aren't even a thing anymore. You can't even get a career job in the gaming industry anymore. Like without sustaining a layoff at this point, or like multiple layoffs. It's just it's a cutthroat.
Speaking of retail, have you heard the new policy at Target? Possibly.
No.
So because foot traffic is less in Target, right? Because people are boycotting Target, they have instructed their employees that if a customer comes within 10 feet of you, you have to make eye contact and smile at them. If they are within 10 feet of you, if they are within 4 feet of you, you have to do eye contact, smile, and then say, "Is there anything I can help you find today?" Like the most robotic crap, and that's going to bring people in. I'm like, have you ever met a millennial? Don't smile at me. I grew up in the My Chemical Romance era. Do not smile at me. So
Reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Ned Flanders has taken over the world. He's like, "Let's see those smiles," and he like pulls hooks into them, big smiles.
big smiles.
Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, yeah. I think I could keep going on, but I think we'll wrap it up
Yeah.
here because it makes sense. We'll continue on to side B. So there's just a side B preview. I think a lot of the Life is Strange talk around this will go into that as well, because this is kind of in itself quite heavy in terms of just Square Enix and dealing with AI
Yeah.
stuff as it
I'm gonna
is. So
lower
I
the
think like that will,
pressure. So yeah.
yeah, and that as well. So I think like we'll wrap up here though. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. I think there's obviously a lot to be said about it. So let us know what you think about Square Enix and AI. But as I said, a lot of Life is Strange kind of conversation. What's next for Life is Strange is essentially going to be in the next side B. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So I hope you all enjoyed as well. And obviously a big shout out to our Patreon users. So obviously we have Kevin, Lackner, Sunday, Clare, McLoughlin, Jake, Carly, Goldberry, Kevin Kestis, Clarx, MrAnselmi, Spunger, Lost Fan, Paul Groschke, and Xavier, who all signed up to Patreon. So thank you so much for that as well. There'll be another Patreon incentive tier that comes later this month as well on the custom made podcast. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. It's always really appreciated. And yeah, stay tuned for side B. That will be coming this week as well with this. I think it should hopefully come after this. And then Sam Bradley's first part of the interview should hopefully come this week. Fingers crossed as I try and really buckle down and get things done this week. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So yeah, we'll wrap up here. Hope you all enjoyed, guys. If you are new here, one more time, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like video, share with your friends. And StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. So available on Spotify with the video version, Apple Podcasts. Go and check us out there. Go and download us, go and rate us, and support the channel as well. We're on social media, so you can go follow us there. And also as well, we're on Patreon, so you can go support us on there as well. Stay tuned. Side B will come up. It'll be a lot more Life is Strange focused with Square Enix's shit that they've been doing. That's just the easy way of putting it. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll see you for side B. Take care, guys. Bye.
Ready for the mosh pit, shaka bra.